You're listening to the Fit in Real Life podcast, episode 421. And here's a real life thing for you. Today, I am just feeling irritated. Today and yesterday, just irritated. And I was sort of doing a bit of searching as to why that might be. And I think there are some subtle reasons why. But what really has helped me a lot in this circumstance is just accepting that I feel irritated and it's okay. In the past, I would try to fix everything and mindset my way through things. And now I'm just like, today I'm just feeling a bit irritated. And I also know that this feeling will pass. Now, when I feel like this, I do not want to go outside for my walk. I actually have meeting a friend today at 1 o'clock for a walk, and a big part of me is wanting to cancel. So I'm not quite sure if I will or not, because I'm pretty sure if I go, I'll feel a lot better. But the big part of me right now does not want to go. Anyhow, small little thing, but that's how I'm feeling right now. And yet here I am on this microphone recording this podcast. I'm hoping that it doesn't come through in my voice that I'm feeling a bit off right now, but that's just life. And what I have decided is that regardless of how I feel, I have commitments. And that's really helped me to stay consistent is that I don't always feel like recording a podcast. I don't always feel like showing up for work. I don't always feel like going for a walk. But when you commit to something and you just go do it, you just go do it. And sometimes, I'm not saying this is going to happen today, but sometimes when I don't feel like doing something and I do it anyway, I am so happy that I did, and it comes off really well. So we'll see. Maybe this will be my best podcast ever. Thank you so much for being here today on the Fit in Real Life podcast. We are going to dive into a couple of things that we might say to ourselves, that you might say to yourself, that are barriers to lasting change. And I am very, very, very aware when I coach my clients and of my own self talk of just the language that we use and how sometimes the things that we say, the way we say things, stop us from making meaningful, lasting change. Today, I'm going to dig into 3 things that are often overlooked, but they're really big obstacles that could be holding you back. All right, let us dive in. Number 1, this one has been highlighted for me quite a bit in the last little while, but it's the language of I am trying. I am trying to eat healthier. I am trying to lose weight. I am trying to exercise more. I am trying to go to bed early. Now, personally, I do not use this word a lot. And it was quite a while ago that I was listening to some podcast or I was reading a book, and the person said that trying is lying. So when we say that we're trying, we're not really committed to doing it. It creates these mental loopholes that allow us to have excuses. So I'm trying to walk 3 times a week. Um, let's try to get together. I love that one. Let's try to get together. No, you're not going to get together. You can commit to getting together, but trying just means that I actually am not really committed to the outcome. I'm not committed to actually doing it. And it is perfectly acceptable and a great word to use when you're saying things like, I'm going to try a new recipe. I'm going to try it out. I might like it. I might not like it. It might work out. It might not. You're not committed to the outcome. And that can be really helpful. It can be quite expansive. Maybe you're going to try a supplement or try a medication or try a new position in sex. And you don't have to like commit to it and say like, well, if it doesn't work out, then it means something. You're just trying it out, which is expansive and helpful. But when we use the words try in terms, I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to eat healthier, it gives us so many opportunities for excuses, for failures. Think about if someone says to you, I tried to lose weight. I tried to lose weight. I tried to go for a run today. If they said that, do you think that they actually lost weight or they actually went for a run? Or would you assume that they tried and they failed? So in our subconscious, we have this idea that when we say I try, it means that I'm going to fail. And it sets us up for that opportunity to fail because it feels safe. It's protection from failure. It feels safer than saying I'm going to, I'm working on, or I will do this. It gives us an out. And if we are afraid of failure because we think, well, failures mean that I can't do it or I'm broken or something's wrong with me and weak, then it feels safe because it does give us an out. And trying makes us feel like we're doing something, even though our efforts are kind of half-ass. It gives us that comfort of appearing like we're being proactive and we're doing it and we're trying, but there's no accountability. There is no skin in the game. We're just going to try to lose weight, try to eat healthier. And I do have some friends who use this word, and I've noticed this in conversation, and they say it and they actually mean it. When they say, yeah, I'm trying to go to the gym more, they actually are going to the gym more. And so I'm not sure, I'm not certain that this word is a black or white word where we shouldn't use it or we should use it, but if you have this history of on again, off again, of this kind of like half-assed attempts, I try to lose weight and then I fail and I follow the plan, then I would encourage you, I would invite you to pay attention to your use of this word. Go ahead, try a new recipe, try a new position in sex, try a new supplement, try a new TV show to watch. But when it comes to things that really matter, like your health and your wellness and things that you actually want, we want to be really, really, really cautious and really, really diligent about removing the word try from our vocabulary. And this topic actually hit me in the face this month because I saw a hypnotist for the first time. I've been to 2 sessions so far. It was a really good friend of mine who also went and had a wonderful experience. And I'm curious and I like trying new things. When I say trying new things, that's a good use of the word try here. And I wanted to go try it out. I don't know how it was going to go. And I think personally, I have a hard time being hypnotized. There are some sort of things about me that make it hard just to kind of let go and just to be. The second time was a lot better. The first time wasn't so great in terms of I thought that I would feel different than I did, but the second time was a lot better. But she was really, really, really diligent about using the word or not using the word try. And she actually provided some really, really great examples of other words to use instead and other phrases to use instead that are also true. Because if you say things like, I will eat healthier, or I am eating healthier, or I am a healthy eater, and you're not, or you're not sure if you're going to eat healthy or not, then there is a bit of a disconnect, and your brain knows that that's not true. And you can't just tell yourself things that are not true without your brain being like, something's not right here. It's like telling yourself, I'm in the best shape of my life, and you're not, or I am fit and healthy and have tons of energy, and you're exhausted. There's a disconnect there. But she did provide some really good examples of words to use instead, phrases to use instead. So, one that I love the most is it feels good when. So, let's say your goal is to eat healthy, and you can define what that looks like for yourself. Instead of saying, I'm trying to eat healthy, you can say things like, it feels good when I eat healthy, or it feels good when I am calm. A couple of things I'm working on personally right now. Well, eating healthy is always a goal for myself. Also, to be more calm and loving, to be more emotionally fulfilled, to be satisfied, to be more present. Those are all things that I'm working on right now. So I say things like, it feels good when I'm calm and loving, which is true. It does feel good when I'm calm and loving. Am I always calm and loving? Nope. Like today, I was not calm and loving. I was irritated. And my husband came home for a few minutes and I was not calm and loving. I wasn't mean. I just kept my distance. And I could have been calm and loving. But what's still true is it feels good when I am. And that is still a true something I can still say to myself. It feels good when I am. I'm happiest when I'm calm and loving. I'm happiest when I eat healthy. And that's true. So we can't lie to ourselves. And we want to find truths that actually move us forward. Another example, last night on a coaching call, one of my wonderful clients mentioned that she is not wanting to say the word no to food because in the past, no always felt restrictive. It was a punishment. No, you can't have that. No, that you can't have that. You ate too much. You've gained weight. You can't have that. So she is shifting her language now to, yes, I can have that and I'm going to have it tomorrow, or I'm going to put it on my plan. So she's working on delaying. Another way to do this is not to say no or yes, I can have it, but not right now, but also to remind yourself that it feels really good when I eat on plan. And it's true, it feels really good when I eat on plan. So saying those things that are truths to yourself really matter. In our coaching calls in the last few weeks, if you're working with me in Fit and Vibrant Live It, we have gone through this quite a lot and been practicing these thoughts. But here's the thing, it takes more than just listening to a podcast or writing down these words, a couple times to make this stick, because we have been practicing these other words. I'm trying to, I can't, I shouldn't, um, for so many years, right? We have been, if you've been struggling with food, if you've been on this on again, off again cycle for a long time, you have words that you say, you're hypnotizing yourself all the time with words, with thoughts that you don't want. And so it takes a lot of intentional effort to shift our mindset. It's an active process. It's not something that we wait for, which brings me to my next point. Here is what I hear a lot. I just need to get in the right mindset. This would be a lot easier if I were in the right mindset. And then when I ask what that means, my client will say something like, I'd be more motivated. I would do the things. I'd be more consistent. And my question is always, well, what does that look like? If you were in the right mindset, what would I see be different? And not, I would feel more motivated. I would be more consistent. But what would you actually be doing differently? I would be walking 10 minutes a day. I would be drinking my 8 glasses of water. I would be following my food plan. I would be meal planning. I would be creating a food plan. What would I see be different? So in my programs, I do specifically teach mindset. We do exercises, we do workshops, we do coaching, we do courses on mindset, learning about mindset. But it's not something that we learn and we have to just like know from an intellectual knowledge to start or do something. It's something that we practice by going after our goal. So the first step is not working on your mindset, but deciding what you want to see be different and what is the goal. And make sure your goal is realistic and it matches the reality of your life. And I can't say this enough, but make sure it is realistic, because quite often we say things like, well, if I have the half a cup of trail mix every day, um, I'm not going to lose weight. But maybe right now you're having a cup of trail mix, but you're not measuring it because you're eating it from the right from the bag. I'm not speaking from experience at all, by the way. I never do that. I never eat trail mix right from the bag. Uh, but let's say that's one of your downsides or your downfalls. And then so your next goal is to eat half a cup or 3/4 of a cup. But you don't want to do that because you think you're not going to lose weight if you're eating 3/4 of a cup or half a cup of trail mix. And yet every day you still eat half a whole cup because you're not measuring it and it doesn't count. And so you are not willing, so often we're not willing to do what's an improvement for us to make a progress instead of looking for that perfection, that all or nothing thinking, which is step number 3. But right now, that belief that you have to be in the right mindset before you start. We think that we need to figure out what's getting in the way before we take action. We think that we need to figure it all out. That's procrastination. It sounds like you're doing something, it sounds like you're trying, but it is procrastination. It is a noble excuse for doing the work and doing the things that are uncomfortable. Yes, I would love to be more motivated. I would love to always have an amazing mindset, but that's not the work. The work is doing the thing and then troubleshooting and working through it as things come up. And mindset follows action. We often think that we have to be motivated and feel like doing something before we do it. And it's the other way around. When you start doing the thing, and this is the importance of those small baby steps, it starts to build confidence. You start to have that positive mindset. You start to realize that change is possible. So start with where you're at. Do what's a small improvement for you and do what is an improvement for you, like for you, not what you think the plan should be like, not what you think you need to do to lose weight, but where can you start and what's that next step forward? And then when you do that thing, celebrate the win. Because what we often do is we do the thing. Let's say you eat the half a cup of trail mix, and then you say things like, I know, but I still ate half a cup of trail mix. If I want to lose weight, I shouldn't eat any. And you totally negate the progress that you made and you still feel like a failure. So take the small step forward and then give yourself credit for the thing that you're doing. So if you say things like, well, if I was motivated, if I was in the right mindset, I'd walk every day. Then walk today. Start with a short walk. Start with realistic. Start with doable. If you said things like, well, if I was in the right mindset, I would be working out, I would be meal prepping, then that's what you do. And start small. So focus on small, achievable steps. It doesn't have to be a huge like overhaul to be effective. In fact, it's so much more doable and less overwhelming where you just start with where you're at and take that next step forward. Might you need to do more eventually? Sure, possibly, but we need to start somewhere. And there is that thing floating around on social media, Instagram, Facebook, about two ladders. And one ladder, they're the same size. One ladder has like, 10 steps. One ladder has 1,000 steps. And 1,000 steps are really, really small. But the problem with the 10-step ladder is you can't even get to that first step because it's too far away. It's out of reach. And so what we do so often is we don't do that first step, even though it's going to be 1,000 small steps because we think it's too small. But the only way you can get up that ladder is by taking that next step forward. So focus on small, achievable steps. Stop waiting to get in the right mindset. Stop hoping that your mindset is just going to change and fall from the sky. Mindset is an active process. It's something that we do, it's something that we work on. And that is by doing the thing, working on the belief systems, working on proving yourself right because now you're doing it, and then starting to challenge your thoughts as things come up. Okay, number 3 is perfectionism. And I've done lots of podcasts on perfectionism, but this all or nothing thinking, it's really a noble excuse. We think that if we can't do something perfectly, we're not going to do it at all. And, or we have like one misstep and then we think, oh, I blew it. F it. What does it matter anyway? I might as well start again tomorrow because we believe that tomorrow we have a clean slate and we're just going to be perfect tomorrow and something magical is going to happen. Or another big one is this fear of disappointing others. I say the two most common isms, tendencies, I should say, for people who struggle with food is perfectionism and also people pleasing. And I think they kind of come together. Actually, last week I had two coaching calls where both people were doing awesome, like really, really awesome. And they thought that they were going to let me down. I was like, whoa. Like, and I say this all the time. Like, this is what I coach, this is what I teach. I'm like, you don't have to be perfect. I don't want you to be perfect. No one ever lost their weight or was consistent or got to their goals by being perfect. And yet, still in our mind, we have these realistic expectations that we should be perfect. And if we're not, which we're not because we're human, we have feelings of guilt or failure, and then it reinforces the belief that we're not good enough, all because we have this made up expectation of what things should look like. And so perfectionism, it's so subtle, it's so insidious, and it's there. It can absolutely get in the way of us making consistent change. And so often it's just an excuse. It's procrastination. It's not doing the hard work because it's easier to fall into that old pattern of saying, I'll start again tomorrow. And you do, and then you realize that tomorrow comes and there you are. You're the same person with the same habits, with the same stories, with the same tendencies. So we got to let go of perfection. Embrace imperfection, embrace flexibility with honesty, because sometimes we also just let ourselves off the hook because we're not going to be perfect when we really could step up and make a better choice. So learn from your mistakes, learn when you're off plan, and recognize that we're going to have ups and downs. We're going to have slip ups along the way, and it is okay. It's a good thing, it's part of the process. And I know you've heard me say this so many times before, but please, please, please do yourself a favor. Give yourself the biggest gift you can, and that is to celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins. Track your progress, acknowledge your efforts, even if it's not perfect. Okay. Takeaways. 3 things that are getting in the way of long-term success. Number 1, that language of I'm trying. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to eat healthier. No, trying is a half-ass effort. It's giving yourself an out. It's making room for excuses. It's getting you off the hook so that if you fail, well, you kind of didn't really try anyway. You're just trying. You're not actually doing it. So ditch that word from your language. Number 2, you don't have to be in the right mindset to start and to take action. It is the opposite. You get in the right mindset by taking action. So ask yourself, if I was in the right mindset, if I was motivated, what would I be doing? What would I see be different? And funnily enough, when you do that thing, you actually start to feel the way you want to feel. And number three, let go of perfectionism. I've had so many podcasts on this before. You can go ahead and go just search on my website, perfect or perfectionism. You'll see lots of podcasts there. It is harmful. It creates that vicious cycle of on again, off again. It is full of stress. It's full of stress because we are trying to like achieve something that is unachievable, and that's just stressful. It's not fulfilling. So progress is progress, and you're going to have setbacks. You can still learn from them. I think it's good to actually dive into them and assess what went wrong instead of just letting it go. Letting it go is good, but I think it's better just to do a little bit of a recap and then you keep going, because long-term change comes from consistent, imperfect action. Your actions matter, your language matters, and progress is always, always, always better than perfection. You deserve to feel good. So take small, intentional steps, and you are going to get there wherever there is. If you have questions or topics for this podcast, please email me, Tanya at tanyashaw.com. And if you found this episode helpful, you're liking the podcast, please subscribe to the podcast. You can leave a review and also share it. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you next week.